This is probably the dumbest thing I've ever done. You are probably wondering what's going on with that mission parameter bar. Yep, I am doing a Hazard 1 point extract, but I'm not just doing a Hazard 1 point extract. I am doing a Hazard 1 point extract with golden bugs. But not only that, I'm going to stay in there for as long as I'm able, and generally try and be as... So I want to see how long it takes for Hazard 1 to turn into Hazard 5.
Here we go!
Our scanners have picked up a massive deposit of a quark. We're sending you in alongside a heavily armed lifter to get as many out as possible. We're picking up extreme biosigns in the area, so keep it snappy. Quarks can be extracted from the walls. Search for a blue, shimmering light. Get it done, team.
Got a nice open map here, good for dodging. That's Hazard 1 for you.
Swarm! I repeat, swarm!
Shoot to kill! Eat it!
So that's just about everything I can do for the mission. Now it's just up to me to stay here for a while. We're already 20 minutes in, almost 22 minutes in, and now we wait.
Swarm, they're here.
Another day at the office.
We are now about half an hour in. I ran out of flares at minute 25, but I'm not going to waste a resupply on just flares. We're still getting waves consisting of just a couple of grunts and a few swarmers every minute or so. I'm genuinely wondering when this is going to pick up, because normally by now you'd be getting non-stop waves. That's just Hazard 1 for you. It's just that tame. Okay, we're now just over an hour in. I've been noticing a significant uptick in the enemy spawn rates. I've been mostly hiding out on the mine head. Nothing's been able to reach me through all the turrets. And apart from that, the swarms have been getting closer together. It's gone for about 10 minutes per swarm. So the last one was 8 minutes per swarm. And if it still holds true, we're due for another swarm about 4 minutes from now. So I'm curious to see where this goes in the long run, but for now, I'm mostly just AFKing and getting the footage so I can review it later.
Swarm! I repeat, swarm!
An hour and 5 minutes in, we started getting Praetorians as part of swarms. These Magterra guys have actually been spawning for a while. But this swarm, 6 minutes after the previous one, is now starting to spawn Praetorians. We had 2 Praetorians in that wave. It's honestly starting to feel closer to Hazard 2.5 at the moment if I had to pin a number on it. Not quite Hazard 3 yet, but a bit harder than Hazard 2, but of course all the bugs have Hazard 1 health, so it's still a matter of chilling up here on the mine head, waiting for the turrets to do all the work. The turrets are running a bit low on ammo though, so once those run out I'm going to have to take a bit more of an active role in killing stuff, but it shouldn't be too hard since a Praetorian will die in a single power attack. Generally, probably be able to do most everything with my pickaxe, with the gun being for emergencies.
This'll turn them crazy.
And I accidentally threw a grenade. Well, that was a waste.
Contact! Lock and load!
And we just lost our third turret about an hour and 25 minutes in. Enemy count's starting to feel close to has 3, maybe 4. Of course, the resistance is still has 1, so it's a bunch of very easy kills. But now that my defenses are limited to Bosco, I'm really going to have to be more careful and a bit more active, and generally try and manage on my own, because I don't have turrets to protect me anymore. Been making a couple of rounds around the caves over the past half hour or so to make sure I got everything. I'm fairly certain that the caves have been licked clean, and I've been entertaining myself for a while, mainly chopping down crystals, but it's really only to pass the time. As you can see, enemies aren't coming non-stop, but they are coming in fairly large quantities. It makes me think that the spawn speed is capped, but the quantity isn't. We won't know until later on, until I review the footage. Swarms are about 6-7 minutes between them, which isn't a whole lot of a decrease, which leads me to believe that's either scaling logarithmically, as in it will decrease the amount that it decreases by will get smaller every decrease, or that it's capped at around 5 minutes. It's probably a stupid idea, but I'm going to limit the ways that enemies can come at me by holding up in this little quark chute.
Let's clear them out.
And that should allow me to be aware of when enemies come at me. Of course, it does raise some questions as to what happens when I get overrun, but that's what my weapons are for. I've still barely even fired a shot. My weapons are just a last resort for when I can't pickaxe everything to death. So we just crossed 2 hours, which is the limit of how long my computer records for before it stops the recording, so had to reboot that up. Luckily it didn't mess up too much, didn't lose a whole lot, like 30 seconds or so. So I'd say it's around Deep Dive Stage 2, not quite Hazard 4, but a bit above Hazard 3. I've been hiding down here for an hour now, I guess. I made some renovations. I dug out this entire thing by hand and then had to lower it down level because exploders trashed it. But it's nice. It's not very big, but it's got enough space to run and jump around, you know, dodge a few attacks. The time between swarms is staying roughly steady at around 7-ish minutes. So, I'm not entirely sure if that's going to get any shorter, but I doubt it. And I've been mainly surviving through liberal use of Bosco's regenerating rockets and the power attack in this choke point here. And I've used my weapons a little, but not a whole lot. I can still kill Praetorians with 1 power attack, so they aren't that much of a threat unless they attack in more than 1, in which case I have to pull out the boomstick. I still have something like 20 supply caches to grab, so I'm not even remotely concerned about ammo yet. But looks like we're just about crossing the point right now of endless swarms, because I just killed those guys and it's only been about like a minute, 30 seconds even, and more of them come. So we're definitely getting an uptick. It's absolutely an uptick. I've never seen this many enemies on a Hazard 1 mission before. Not that that's saying a lot, but I'm going to see how much longer I can hold out for. It's starting to get a little late in real life, so I might not be able to go forever. I'd say I'll probably have to call it after about 4 more hours, which, yeah, only 4 more hours.
Swarm! I repeat, swarm!
Rocket, please.
We just crossed 2.5 hours, and I don't even know what swarm this is, but I'm getting close to 2,000 kills in this one Hazard 1 mission. So I think it's capped out. I'm not entirely sure, but at the very least, the increase rate is slow enough that I'm not seeing a difference swarm to swarm or wave to wave. So I think I'm gonna call it here. 2.5 hours is already gonna be probably not nearly as tough as I think it is compared now, but I believe I've wasted enough of my time sitting here in this tiny little coward cave, killing everything that dares come close. I'm gonna go. It's a pity that I didn't get to use any of my ammo clips, but at this rate, I think I could last on my pickaxe for another 4 hours-ish, or at least a very long time, and then I'd probably start blowing through ammo like crazy, but I don't have the patience or the time to wait that long.
Much better.
So I'm gonna nope out here and see how tame the extraction sequence is compared to that last wave we just got. Hey, what's up? This is editing me here. I just wanted to write over the commentary I did in the actual recording because it wasn't all that interesting and it wasn't all that audible either, but I also had a couple of things that I only know now that I wanted to point out. First of all, the extraction sequence, I'm honestly not sure why I threw that pheromone grenade there. The extraction sequence didn't scale up like the rest of the mission's normal swarms, so this is just basic has one extraction, which was a lot easier than even just a single one of the waves. Speaking of the waves, however, looking back at the recording, they appeared a little under a minute each, a minute of downtime each, so a minute between them. Like one was at like 18 minutes, or 2 hours 18 minutes, the next one was at 2 hours 18 minutes and 52 seconds. So it had been like that for the last half hour, and I was right in calling that it wasn't scaling up any further, as the amount of enemies, it was increasing by, if anything, a couple of swarmers every other wave, which is meaningless when you're facing 20 grunts per wave. And the swarms, I made a few mistakes in episode. I thought they were scaling down in the time between them, but they weren't. It was consistently about anywhere from 15 to 5 minutes between the swarms, and there didn't seem to be any correlation to time. So that's a myth debunked. The swarms do not come faster with how long the time goes on, which may only apply to Hazard 1, but I don't really think it does. It might have been that the minimum time went down, so it just becomes a bigger range, and you have a chance of getting swarms immediately after each other, but once again, I don't think that's true. But the amount of enemies certainly did scale up. Now, I probably could have had a bit more patience, but I don't know if anything past 2.5 hours would really be useful, since there's not going to be many people who actually realistically spend 2.5 hours in a real mission. The total tally is it takes around 2.5 hours for the mission difficulty to go from Hazard 1 to Hazard 4. During this extraction sequence, I rated it as around like a 3.5 or a 4. I'd definitely say it's 4. And the swarms don't move, and in general, point extraction, it would probably be a lot more of a difference on a higher difficulty, but since I was only playing on Hazard 1, it's not the most conclusive results, but it certainly does show just how much it scales with time. $7,000 credits, most of that from the kills, and 10,000 experience. Never thought you'd see that from a Haz 1 mission. That is screenshot worthy.